watching closely.
What's the secret, Max?
You just gotta find something you love to do and then do it for the rest of your life.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Hello, and welcome to The Establishing Shot, a podcast where we do deep dives into directors and their filmographies. I am your host, Eli Price, and I am joined today by our, our unofficial co-host, because he's been on the most episodes, Jean-Pierre Boudreaux. He is joining me from, do you want to share where you're joining me from? It's not this nice little lake that's in his background if you're watching.
No. I, for whatever reason, Riverside decided to trap me inside of this lake. Yeah, no, I've actually recently made a move internationally, and I now live in Guatemala. I'm getting married in October, so a little over 2 months now.
Yeah.
And just kind of putting the pieces together of my life here. And man, it's been crazy, but it's been a good time. It's been a good
I
time.
imagine moving to a different country is a whirlwind.
Yes, especially a country like Guatemala. It's like so beautiful, but also very chaotic and intense at the same time. So
Sure.
yeah, it keeps you on your toes. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, JP is in Guatemala. I am still here in Louisiana. And you might be wondering what has been going on. I've not put out an episode in, probably over 6 months now. And I've missed it. I've missed hanging out with people and talking about movies. And so it was time to get back going. And you'll notice by the episode name that we are not jumping into a new director quite yet, soon to come. But I figured it would be good to kind of jump in, talk about the year so far in movies, maybe hit on last year a little bit because we were unable to do a best of 25 episode. So yeah, we're kind of just gonna do a survey of the land of movies. So I've been still enjoying lots of movies. I know JP has been enjoying movies even in the midst of the big move. But
not as many as you, but I've seen what I could.
Yeah. But yeah, life is crazy, but we're gonna jump back in and talk about movies. So speaking of talking of movies, I've actually been really enjoying what's been happening in the movie world recently, even with like all these mergers and acquisitions and all the madness. There's like this burgeoning group of young filmmakers making horror movies. I guess that's
Gen
the
Z
way.
kids, man. Yeah.
I guess that's the way in now, is to make a low budget horror movie that blows up. But yeah,
I mean, it kind of always has been, honestly.
I guess so, in a way. Yeah.
Like there's quite a few, like I think of someone like a James Wan, right? Where
Sure,
he's
yeah.
directed movies, but he's also produced a lot of movies. And I think, like he kind of got his start with
Yeah.
lower budget things as well. And he's made what some people, I mean, I'm not a huge horror fan, but some people regard some of the films he's made, like some of the Insidious films. And I think he did like The Conjurings too. And
Yeah.
like he's I think he's very well respected in the horror space. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason why Blumhouse exists, right? They've kind of expanded since the early days, but like Blumhouse and A24 as well. Like
Yeah.
these are
Horror
two,
movies
and
sell.
also Neon. I think like all these movies are all these studios. These kind of three indie studios are ones that really established themselves on these kind of like lower budgets, and especially with A24 and Neon, this elevated horror, which I know has become a term that people really roll their eyes out.
Yeah.
But horror that is a little bit more than just scary man with a knife chasing people down the hallway.
Yeah.
I think there's always been intense, mature horror films, but I think definitely what you saw during the late 70s and through the 80s, like it kind of became this kind of like cheesy kind of really joke, and then you see like in the 90s when you have Scream really kind of being a satire of that kind of stuff. And I think it really the late 90s into the early 2000s and so on is really when it kind of hit a bit of resurgence. And like I
Yeah.
think you still get your cheesy, dumb horror movies, but I
Mm-hmm.
notice myself I'm drawn to the genre more and more as some of these more, I mean, I'm thinking of like, I mean, I think the two best people in horror right now are Ari Aster and Robert Eggers.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, even some of their movies, it's like, well, I don't know if I could ever watch that again, but
Yeah.
man, how intriguing it was. I think of Hereditary, and then with Robert Eggers, I've really loved everything he's done, but I mean, The Witch is so great. You have, I mean, The Lighthouse is not really a horror, but it kind of has some horror elements.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Nosferatu was phenomenal. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
really definitely an interest.
It's funny because like you really have you can make a good horror movie on a low budget. I think is part of it, but also I think what's been happening recently too is you have these guys that are building their kind of like I guess like their audience on like kind of like sketch comedy or like YouTube comedy.
Yeah.
And Jordan Peele was kind of like I guess one of the first guys to kind of break that open, I guess.
Hmm.
Going from the Key and Peele sketch show to all of a sudden he's making Get Out and like Us and Nope, and he's supposed to have another movie coming out next year, and
I mean, plus he's been,
yeah, and he's
behind the
been
scenes.
producing so
Yeah,
much.
like Monkey Paws put out
Mm-hmm.
some really great films as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It.
and especially with Curry from who did Obsession,
Mm-hmm.
like I love That's a Bad Idea. Like he and I think it's Ian is the other guy who he's one of the actors in the movie, but it's the two of them that like do all these sketches, and like there
Right.
was
Yeah.
always a bit of like this kind of unhinged energy in their sketches.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen Obsession. I really want to see it, but to me, like when I realized like who it was that was doing this stuff, I was like, oh, this makes so much perfect sense because there's always been a bit of this unhinged edginess in their sketches and like a lot of like really like kind of like awkward humor and things like that. And I've
Mm-hmm.
heard that there's a lot of that present in Obsession amongst the horror aspects as well. And so yeah, it really makes sense to me that
Yeah.
they would be able to knock that out of the park.
Yeah. It's. I think it's just something about that thing that you're tapping into with comedy. That's a similar thing that you're tapping into with horror. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of like this
Uh-huh.
primal reaction. Like if you think something is funny, it's hard to like analyze why it's funny. If
Uh-huh.
something makes you laugh, it just makes you laugh. And it's just
Uh-huh.
it can be a similar. It's probably a little easier to analyze why things make you scared, I guess. But it's a similar thing. It's like this primal reaction that you don't really quite understand why why it's happening or where it comes from, but it just like it
Uh-huh.
happens. And so yeah, it's I guess it's playing into a similar thing, and also it relies on a similar structure. There's
The
setup and
setup.
anticipation
Mhm.
that you
The punchline.
build, and then there's a punchline or a scare, or maybe like even like I think one of the things that makes these modern, young YouTubers probably pretty good at horror is because humor has changed a lot. And it's even less about like setup and punchline and more about like setup and anticipation. And then like what's funny about it is it's just lasting way too long.
Mhm.
And there's something similar that you're starting to see in a lot of horror
Uh-huh.
of like, it's just like anticipation and anticipation. And that anticipation just becomes
Mhm.
dread.
Yes.
And I think there's something to that too in
Uh-huh.
these young filmmakers that they're bringing something different to horror
Mhm.
uh, because they're coming out of like a different type of humor.
Yeah, I
But
think, I mean, I can't remember how to say their names, but, I mean, was it, like, last year or the year before, you had Talk to Me, which was from
yeah,
the twin brothers from Raka Raka. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Philippou brothers, yeah,
YouTubers, like, now they also did, there was a number Bring Her Back, and which I
hmm
heard was also really, really good. I hadn't seen any of those yet, but, so I don't know, there is something interesting about these, YouTubers turning into filmmakers. I mean, Curry, it's either Baker or Barker, I can't remember, with
yeah,
his stuff. And then, of course, like King Parsons with Backrooms, like,
yeah,
Like, I mean, he he's like a 16-year-old kid and like sees these things on Reddit and starts learning how to use Blender and makes his own
Mm-hmm.
short films, then gets to make a movie based on his short films. And
Yeah. Even Zach Kreger came
yeah.
out of comedy, like sketch
Yeah.
comedy,
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
he's
Whitest Kids
been
You
blowing
Know.
up too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, he's great as well. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. With,
Yeah, I think
Barbarian was great, Weapons was great.
yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for Resident Evil too, but yeah, I think you're onto something there where it's so similar, like the two kind of sides of this horror and comedy where that they're both based on trying to get a reaction out of you, a laugh or a scream
Mm-hmm.
or a jump or something
Mm-hmm.
or you
A primal
flinch.
feeling,
Yes, 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 yes. And I think also when you think about, not just directors coming out of the comedy world into horror thrillers and stuff like that, but also some of the actors too. Like
Mm-hmm.
some of Robin Williams' best non-comedic roles are in thrillers like Insomnia,
Mm-hmm.
which was Christopher Nolan's first kind of like bigger budget
Yep.
movie after he did Following, and then or no, after he did Memento. He did
Memento, yeah.
Memento.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, but Memento was still independent, and then also, I've not seen it, but I've heard he's amazing in like 1 Hour Photo. It's another
Yeah,
famous
same. I haven't seen it
role of
either. Yeah.
his. So I think it's a similar thing where there's this like if you know how to make somebody laugh, you know how to make them scared too. I think,
Yeah.
and it's like a really interesting dynamic for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy because what I love to see is like this guy, and specifically, I guess, in Curry Barker, who gets a little bit of money. I want to say like it was made with $1 million or less.
Seven seven
Yeah,
750,000, I think,
yeah,
is what
that's
I've
what
seen
I've heard.
floating around.
Obviously, there's a bit more spent with like marketing and stuff, but yeah, I mean, and then you make $300 million at the box office over, and the crazy thing is, I don't know if you saw this, but like the percentage it would grow each week over
Word
the
of
first
mouth
three
was
weeks.
crazy for that movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that sort of thing just doesn't happen often. I don't think most people realize like it's like, I mean, it's probably like less than 1% of movies that make more on their second
It's
weekend than their first weekend.
yeah. I mean, other than maybe
I
like
know
some kind
E.T.
of
did it,
Marvel film. Yeah, let's say, I feel like that's
but
really
I
more
mean,
of a pre-internet phenomenon when
yeah,
you wouldn't be able to see a trailer for a movie or really know anything about it unless you went and saw another movie and you saw the trailer before the movie.
but
So
even
I
back
think
then, like it wasn't
yeah,
it rarely ever went
mhm,
up the second
yeah,
weekend from the first.
yeah. Usually it's like a slight dip or a huge dip, but
Yeah,
for it to go kind of up and up and up, yeah, that movie really was quite the box office
yeah,
juggernaut. Which
yeah,
is crazy when you look at some of the other, like, I mean, you had a Star Wars movie that came out around the same time,
yeah.
and I think it flopped. I don't know. I saw it and was impressed. Uh, I'm
Hmm.
not the biggest Mandalorian fan that there is, so yeah, it's interesting, and I think it also brings the question. I mean, kind of talking about the state of Hollywood right now and the state of movies. I think there's also this concern that when there's like a new trend, right, in
Hmm.
in in the world of movies, Hollywood often learns
Wrong
the wrong
lesson.
lesson. And right now, I think they're doing that. Where I've seen, well, I heard there was a writer recently. I saw an interview, I guess like a little blurb from an interview where he said that book adaptations are kind of going to the wayside, or comic book
Mm,
movies are going to the wayside. But he's getting crazy requests to do scripts for video games. And
mm.
because I think that's the one thing where like the video game movies are still kind of like really hit or miss. I
Yeah,
think they're
I
really still
actually
trying to
have
figure that
one.
out.
I have one on my list for today. We'll get to it.
Okay, okay,
Mm.
okay. And I will say, I think the same thing goes with kind of you talking about like kind of these YouTube kind of sketch comedy, or even like
Yeah,
Curry made like a 80-minute kind of horror
yeah,
film and put it on
yeah.
YouTube.
Is
So
what is it called? Milk and cereal or something?
yeah,
Cereal.
something like that.
Yeah, some play on
And
the word
and
cereal.
yeah, and I think I saw news that Zach Kreger's actually involved, I think, in doing an adaptation of this other kind of like viral internet like Blender horror thing called
Mm,
Siren Head. And I'm like, like is this what they're gonna do now? They're just gonna start finding all these like kind of fringe, backrooms-esque, like internet urban legend things. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I think
It's really interesting.
Kane Parsons is set up to do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre
No,
something.
Curry's.
Oh, is it Curry?
Yes,
What
Curry's
what is Parsons
doing.
set up to do then? I know
I don't know. I think I
I,
heard that they might be doing a Backrooms 2 is last I heard. I think he's jumping into
oh,
that.
I hope not. Yeah, I guess I got them mixed up, but they were so like talk about them was so like mixed
Uh-huh.
together because those movies came out
Yeah.
close together. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Curry's doing Texas Chainsaw for A24, and also he's got another movie. Legitimately, his next movie does kind of sound amazing. I think it was Ian who said it's basically like Key and Peele walk into like a Exorcist movie or like something like that, where it's like,
mm-hmm.
it's these two fraudsters who go to like investigate this haunted house, and then they end up actually finding out it's haunted or something like that. And
Yeah.
everything about that, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a good time, but it leads more into like the comedy side of things, because I think horror comedies are so hard to do, and I
Mm-hmm.
think Curry might have the chops to actually kind of hit that
Obsession
line.
is pretty funny at points, and yeah, you can definitely see that. I
Mhm.
did look up though. Kane Parsons is supposed to reported to be doing an original sci-fi film in collaboration with Osgood Perkins. So I don't know if that means Perkins is
I know Kane's
writing
done
or
some other
producing or
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like he's done. I think I was hearing that they were like thinking about maybe getting him to adapt some of his, because he's done some other non-backrooms
yeah.
stuff as
I
well.
honestly when I'm seeing like original sci-fi, I really think like a lot of when you watch Backrooms, it makes me think of like, have you ever seen Solaris? Like not
I've
the
heard of it.
original Russian.
It's on my list.
It's like there's when you're in the Backrooms part of Backrooms, just the kind of like slow and like you're just like wondering what's going to happen and what's around the corner and what is in the head of the person that you're watching walk around. That kind of I can see like a really interesting sci-fi, like
Mm.
slow kind of like sci-fi,
Mhm.
very
Mm.
yeah, that sort of thing. I can see that with him, which I think would be cool. But yeah, on the other side of things, you mentioned Mandalorian and Grogu, which
Mhm.
I saw it in theaters as well. I was bored a lot of that movie. I don't know, and it just feels like it doesn't feel like really anyone's talking about the new Avengers movie.
Yeah.
It feels like there's supposed to be, the Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling next year. No one's really talking about that. It just feels like the whole like Disney Marvel Star Wars machine is just like
Yeah.
flailing right now. Like,
I think the only upcoming Star Wars project that's not video game related that I'm really excited for, because I think there's kind of a little bit of a renaissance of Star Wars video games coming with some
hmm,
of the upcoming releases. But I think the only one that I'm really interested in, and honestly, I don't even know if it's still happening right now, is I think James Mangold is supposed to be doing like a origins of the Jedi kind of thing. Like
hmm.
we're way in the past in the Star Wars universe. I think that one could be really interesting and feel super, super different. But I don't know if that's still happening or not, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think Mandalorian Grogu, man, I think dude, I don't know what happened. I mean, firstly, it's just like 3 episodes of the TV show and one movie, and I think the biggest thing was like it felt so like edited to be a second screen movie, even though it was in
Hmm.
theaters. Because I remember there's like a scene where Rada is like, he's like, well, I want to become my own man. I don't want to be, known just because of my father. And then
Yeah.
10
You
minutes
say
later, he
a
says the
scene.
same thing.
You say a
I know it
scene.
was in the same scene.
I thought it
Yes, you're
was.
right.
I think it was. Well, he probably says it in the same scene, but
No,
I
no, you
think
know
there
what?
was like 3 or 4 scenes where he says that.
I think he like I think Din Darjan and Grogu, they leave and they come back within about 10 minutes to his like cell, and he says it again slightly differently. I'm like, you just told us this. And also,
Well,
I
he
just gotta
tells us
say,
later too.
I love Jeremy Allen White and The Bear, and I think he's a great actor. They didn't even try to disguise his voice as Rod. It's
Hey,
just,
listen,
I just don't understand.
listen, you know, the guy got a paycheck. I can't blame
That's
him.
true. That's true. I'm sure that Star Wars paycheck's pretty big.
But
So,
I will say, probably voice performance of the year, Martin Scorsese as the monkey guy.
oh, he was
Like,
great. I mean, I love when Martin Scorsese's little squirrely little
yeah.
voice shows up
He
in
just,
a movie.
you know, he was just, you could tell he just walked in and said it. He didn't, I don't even think he acted. I think he just walked in and read the lines as
That's just
himself
how he
and then
is.
walked out and got a paycheck.
I
So,
love a good Martin Scorsese acting performance.
yeah. But I mean, like, the Star Wars Starfighter movie that's coming out next year is directed by Sean Levy. And I'm just like, what? Why? I don't really, why is Sean Levy directing a Star Wars movie?
Who knows, man? Who
I
knows?
don't,
You know who I
I
want to
don't
direct
get
a
it.
Star Wars movie? Denis Villeneuve. Okay, or I don't know. Give Greg Fraser a shot in a director's chair
Yeah.
doing a Star Wars movie or something, like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I want.
Or, oh man, what's the director that my mind is blank. I'm picturing like his movies, but it's not coming to my mind. He did the movie with the AI robots that were shot over in the Southeast Asia. They
Oh,
did a lot of
Gareth
shooting.
Edwards.
Yeah,
Well,
Gareth
he did Rogue
Edwards.
One.
He did do Rogue One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He needs to do another one.
You know, I think another director that would really kill it would be like a Matt Reeves. I think would do incredible with Star Wars.
Matt Reeves would probably be good. He's pretty good with IP stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I think it would be fun to get. I think it would be fun to like also do a kind of like what Marvel tried to do with the Eternals. Get like a more like indie director to try to tell like a more maybe like intimate story in the Star Wars universe. I think would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's sad to me that like this franchise that I like grew up with and love is kind of getting like wasted. Like it's been, how long was it? 7 years since the last Star Wars movie released?
Yeah,
And
2019 I think
and then
was Rise of Skywalker.
yeah, and then we get a new movie and it's just kind of like some episode ideas for a TV show thrown together on the big screen.
Yeah.
Without like much afterthought other than like, well, it has Baby Grogu in it, so we're gonna make money. It's
Gotta
just
sell toys.
yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's sad to me.
Oh,
I don't like it.
and speaking on the sad state of Hollywood at times, have you heard the Letterboxd news?
Yes, you texted me earlier about it. That
I
was
did.
I hadn't heard it. Is it?
Piping hot tea as of today, I think, is that apparently I saw Netflix was interested in acquiring Letterboxd for $250 million, but I've also
Sony at
heard
2?
I've also heard Sony and Paramount.
Yeah,
I
and
think some people were
Paramount,
talking
yeah.
about that, and I'm just like, why? You know, like I know there's
Yeah.
precedent because you know you have Amazon owns IMDb, and then I think it's like
Yeah.
I don't remember which studios it is. I think Disney has a big hand in Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not
Because
Disney, but it's a big conglomerate that
yeah, because they've
does.
gotten in
Yeah.
trouble for like deleting reviews and stuff. And I'm like, and I saw someone today actually who was like, you know, honestly, the reason why Netflix wants Letterboxd, it has nothing to do with controlling reviews. It's data.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want to have access to the data of the largest database of movie lovers.
watchers.
And there's even,
Yeah.
and I think Letterboxd has exploded in the last few years. I think as they've kind of built their social media presence, and I think even now, like very casual, like people like you and I, like I mean, I think I started using my Letterboxd more recently, the last like 3 or 4 years. I think you've been using it a little bit longer than me.
Yeah.
But
I think I got
people
started
like you
in
and I,
2019. Yeah.
yeah, people like you and I who are you know cinephiles, I guess you could say. Like I think it's great for us, but there's even more casual people. Like my fiance has a Letterboxd, she doesn't really use it, but I'm gonna try and get her to start using it. But you know, I follow some of my friends who I know they enjoy movies, but definitely not as much as me. But they're still enjoying like kind of like just saying little funny little blurbs about a movie when they watch it.
Right. Yeah.
And just it's just like it's kind of like the same thing that happens when like Blackstone or BlackRock or what I think is what's called BlackRock, the private equity firm. Like as soon as they get involved with something,
Mm-hmm.
it just instantly becomes like and shitified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't
They
want that
come
to
in and they're
happen
like, how do we
with
make this cooler and bigger? And you're like, if you try to make
you
it
can't.
cooler and bigger, it will be lamer and smaller.
You know what you do? You don't do
You
anything.
leave it
I
alone.
think the only thing that I would like with Letterboxd, like, and this is the only reason I would want it to be acquired is if someone was interested in not changing anything except for actually like building up the social aspect of Letterboxd more, like being able to
Yeah.
like reply or like direct message people. I think that's kind of the only thing that's really missing from it. Uh, but overall, I really love it as like a
Yeah.
as like a diary. I just think there needs to be a little bit more connection between users. I think would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. There's some things like, if you like comment back after someone has commented on your review, like they're not going to see
Mm.
it unless they go look at your review again.
Right. I think
Like
I
there's no way
have to
to
go to my
tag
email now.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, that
Yeah,
would be
like that
good.
kind of thing.
But
Mhm.
there's also like a part of me that's also like, I don't know, that maybe it would bring like the toxicity of social media into our nice thing
True.
that's not
It's possible.
toxic right now. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like I don't know, there's like pros and cons either way, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would rather Letterbox not get acquired by
Same.
someone who makes movies.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is, like, if there's, like, some Canadian firm called Tiny that owns, like, a 60% stake. They're, like,
Mhm.
bleeding cash, and it's like, we either sell it to somebody or Letterbox goes away.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'd rather Letterbox be around, but I think
But sell it to
I'm
sell it to someone who's not going to like use its data to like manipulate or like
yeah, I'm
use
like,
it
don't
like
don't sell it to Meta, and don't sell it to a film corporation. Like,
yeah, anybody
I don't
else.
know.
Like sell it to I don't know. You can't sell it to Amazon either because they have
No,
movies now. I don't know. I don't know who you would sell it to, but I get that you want to
me,
sell
I'll
stuff.
take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it. It's
I get
make me
selling it,
CEO.
I think one thing that like a lot of people kind of don't think about, myself included sometimes is like at the end of the day, like you build this huge thing and you make it big, but also like you're probably not making what like you should be making off of this awesome thing you've built. And so there comes a point to which like I've worked hard, I've built this thing, and now like it's time for me to like step away and like make the money that I deserve off of this thing I've built.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's similar with like films. Like I think even with like Curry Barker was getting backlash because people that helped make the film were like not making any money off of it. And I'm like, he's not. He sold it. Like he
Yeah,
can't give you.
did he
He
make
does.
more money off the movie than other
He's
people
not
did?
making.
Yeah, for sure.
He made whatever he sold it for, but he's not making
Right.
money off of it anymore either.
And my thing
Um,
about that is, you know, I think, speaking specifically about, just kind of touching this really briefly, I think the set dresser that kind of went public with all that,
yeah,
I understand I understand her frustration,
yeah,
of
I
course.
get it.
As someone who's worked on set, like I know what it's like to be in some of those smaller roles. But like the thing about it is like you can't like is there room for things to change in the future? Yes. But I don't think that this is the movie. Like she's complaining about this movie when and like I think that's also when I was trying to compare it to what happened with that recent Ben Affleck and Matt Damon movie, The Rip, where there was like a profit sharing program for all the work. I'm like, great, yeah, but that was
But that's
a
Matt
movie with
Damon,
two of the
and
biggest, most famous movie
yeah,
stars in the world
right.
with making a movie for the biggest streaming like
Like they're
like of
like
course you could hope and dream that your movie is going to be amazing, but there was no way that they would know
yeah.
for sure
I
that
watched The
this
Rip.
movie was going to take off.
I watched The Rip, and that movie was like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Like it's almost like I make this podcast kind of as a hobby, and I don't really make any money off of it. And that's what The Rip felt like for Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Like, oh, this will be a fun movie to make. And so they weren't looking to make. They have money. Like they don't need to make money off The Rip, so they can give the money away. Like,
yeah, I understand being frustrated. I understand wishing that things had been different, but I think
nobody knew though it was going to go to make 300 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody knew that.
I think she kind of took a misstep there, and for like I don't necessarily think this is good, but probably put a bit of a black mark on her name in Hollywood. Like, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, I don't think that that's right, but knowing how the business is, like people are going to see that, and then you have like Indy in Day and Never Ed, like the lead actress. I mean, I think I saw recently that she met with like Michael Mann about potentially starring in Heat 2. like not to say that like, of course, like she's like that the set dresser is like fine to voice her frustrations, but I think it's one of those things that maybe an extra 30 seconds of thought would have been like, you know what? Well, maybe there's another time and place to say this. And also, like,
we need a friend. Everyone needs a friend that they can vent to.
Yes,
and the
that was one of those things, like, maybe vent to your friend, not the internet.
Yeah, I mean? That friend should also say, like, don't post this. I agree with you. I feel for you. Don't post this on the internet.
No.
Oh man,
I agree. I think that's wisdom for a lot of things in life,
for sure.
But yeah.
All that to say, I overall am fairly happy with the state of movies right now.
Hey, it's Mel, lead host of Cinematic Doctrine, a movie podcast. We talk about a lot on Cinematic Doctrine, like how Stranger Things Season 5 basically sucks. All these actors are given the worst material they've gotten from the entire run of the show. How some of our hosts have the hots for Mr. Cooper from Night of the Living Dead.
I mean, he's still a baddie.
He is. He's a baddie, Cat? You're saying he's a baddie? And how the MCU is doing.
I think it would be a miss if I didn't mention
that Pedro Pascal doesn't feel like Reed Richards at all.
Yes.
Search Cinematic Doctrine and listen to Cinematic Doctrine on your preferred podcast app of choice.
I wanted to go back to 2025 since we didn't get a chance to do an episode on the best of 2025 and just kind of run through some of our favorites of last year before we get into this year. So why don't you kick us off with maybe one or two of your favorite movies from last year, and we'll run down like a list of our favorites around 10 or so.
Yeah, I think I don't really have mine in particular order except for maybe the top two. I think.
Well, save your top two for last. We'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think I think one of my favorite movies from last year, to be honest with you, as a fan of the original trilogy, The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson was actually amazing. It was
I heard good things.
So freaking funny. Like, I was working, right? Because I think satire and spoofs are so hard. As I think when you look at like some of the movies that like the scary movies or some of those, like, if you remember like back in the early 2000s, it was like disaster movie, not another teen movie. The problem with so many of those spoofs compared to like a Mel Brooks film is that they're very they're very specific jokes. Like I think it's like Meet the Spartans when Leonidas has a dance battle with Megatron. 10 years later, like no one, that's not funny anymore. It wasn't really funny at the time, but so I think The Naked Gun, I really love that. It really felt like a continuation of the original films, where it's just really just timeless, not only physical comedy, but verbal comedy, the sight gags. It just, honestly, the guy, Akiva, what's his face? The guy who directed it, I think he wrote the script for it too. They killed it. And I think Liam Neeson was the perfect pick for kind of the new version of the main character. I mean, you could tell everyone had a blast making that film. And I think, kind of they had a movie on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. It's a very serious film, but I thought was phenomenally well done, was Warfare from Alex Garland.
Yeah.
And I think the character who it's kind of inspired by, I think the former soldier is inspired by, I think his last name is Mendoza, I want to say. Can't remember his first name right now, but I think he helped kind of co-direct it as well. Because he was there like a consultant for Civil War, which I liked, but
Yeah,
thought
it
it
was
was kind of meh.
interesting. Yeah.
But I think Warfare was so much better. I think the
Mhm.
entire cast killed it. Just the camaraderie you felt among a lot of these like kind of like younger
Well,
actors.
I loved that it just like threw you right in. Like it didn't feel the
Yes.
need to like, oh, let's give some character backstories and stuff. You
Yes.
just jump right in.
I think it gave you such an interesting context for, the Gulf, like not the Gulf War, but the the
Middle
war in
East. Yeah.
Afghanistan and Iraq in the early, kind of early to mid 2000s, because they go through all of this. People, like some of the guys end up dead, some of them get severely wounded. And what do they have to show for it at the end? A bullet-ridden house.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
No ground gains. The mission wasn't really accomplished. Like they kind of just get ambushed from every angle and then have to like get, evacuated out.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody makes it. And it's just like, man, like we really had to put these guys through that, huh? Like,
Yeah.
So I think that was like kind of the biggest thing about it was, man, I've never seen a movie that I feel like so well captured the feeling of like being there in that moment. So
Yeah.
that was really good. But
very good movie. I did give that 4 out of 5 stars, but it was my it was my 21 on the year.
Okay.
So I think how many did I have that were probably, I don't know how many I had that were 4 stars or above. Last year was a good movie. They're a good movie year.
Do you have like a rubric for your grades? Because I usually just go with my gut. Like I walk off the movie, I'm like, that was a 3.5.
I go with my gut. Okay, I had 32 movies last year at 4 stars or higher.
Oh wow.
But a lot, the thing about last year was,
for context for your audience, I had about 19 that were at 4 stars or higher.
Yeah, but I also saw more movies than you, so
that's true.
I have a 1-star movie and
I have a couple 1 stars.
Yeah, but yeah, I think last year there were a lot of 4-star movies, and I think I didn't have quite as many like 4.5 or 5 stars as I have like in other years. But that's a good thing. Like I'm perfectly good if it's a movie year with a bunch of like 7 and 8 out of 10s. Like that's a great.
I want every
movie
movie
year,
I watch to be the best movie I've ever seen. Like honestly, like if I go to see a movie, I want it to be the best movie I've ever seen.
Well, one of the things like I've talked about with some other friends before is like I like there's nothing wrong with like a perfectly like enjoyable like 7 out of 10 movie. Like go to the movies. It's like it's not groundbreaking. It's not like it doesn't leave you like thinking about it for days. It's just you go to the movies, you watch it, like it's really fun, it's really enjoyable. You walk out 7 out of 10. Put the like on it on Letterboxd, and like great time. Like we need those movies. Like, but yeah, obviously that's all subjective, but yeah. So a couple from last year. I'll do this. My number 11 movie and my number 6 movie from last year were both from the same director. Steven Soderbergh made a couple of great movies last year. My number 11 film was Black Bag with Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. Did you see that?
I have not, but I heard it was like a really good kind of like throwback spy film.
I loved it. Fassbender, I feel like, is kind of like the forgotten greatest actor.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of like espionage related stuff because he had The Killer. He has that. I've seen ads for this show called The Agency that he's in. So,
but he's
just on his espionage kind of kick right now.
Yeah, he's great. He's phenomenal in it. He plays Did you see The Killer?
I did. I loved it.
A very different kind of character. From the Killer in this one. Kate Blanchett.
I have some friends who worked on that movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, one of my buddies, you actually, when in the movie The Killer, when he goes to rent a car, my friend is the guy who's working the desk. You see him for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
In the movie, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But yeah, Black Bag was phenomenal. Highly recommend it. It's just like it's an espionage thriller. Like Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender are married. They're both in the British, whatever the CIA equivalent is. I can't remember, but something like that. They're spies anyway. But yeah, they're and obviously things go awry. There's some dinner parties with other couples that work at the agency. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, my number 6 movie was a very early watch last year. I think it came out in January of 2025. But Presence, I really enjoyed Presence. It's the film where the camera is the ghost. So the whole movie is from the perspective of the ghost.
The presence, if you will.
The presence. And so it's a phenomenal like camera work. I think he wore these like special socks or shoes so that he could like walk around without making any noise with the camera. Just like an incredible set. This house that they filmed in was just like so good. The way the camera moves, and then a lot of people didn't go for it, but it just really worked for me. The you don't know who the ghost is the whole movie. You find out obviously at the end, and there's this like to me it was like this one of those kind of wave of emotion kind of moments that kind of washes over you. Kind of made my hair stand up on end, not in a scared way, but just in a very emotional way. So anytime I watch movies where like that happens, I'm like, I love it. I love this movie. If the movie can do that to me, I don't, some people will like overanalyze after and like explain it away, but I'm just like, if it can do it to me in the moment, then it's doing what it's supposed to do. And it doesn't really matter if I can overanalyze it afterwards and like explain it away or say like, oh, they were just tricking me into feeling this. Well, like, no, every movie is a trick to make you have feelings. Like it's a not real thing that's trying to tell you a story to make you have feelings. So yes, every movie is tricking you into feelings. But I feel like that's what a lot of people did with Presence. But also like it is a subjective thing too. Like I can see how it didn't work. But I loved the movie. I thought it was inventive. I love to see directors trying new things. And yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. But those were 2 of my favorite movies from last year, both from the same director. Good old Steven Soderbergh popping out. He has a new movie this year that I haven't seen. The Christophers. That's supposed to be pretty good.
He makes a lot of movies, man. He just cranks them out.
Yes, and Steven Soderbergh,
I feel like he's always
props
experimenting.
to him for pumping out the 90-minute movies, more 90-minute movies. That's what we need. And Soderbergh is trying to make the 90-minute movie revolution. So
I think 90 minutes is the perfect like eat and watch kind of movie, because it's first 20, 30 minutes you're kind of eating, and then like you can kind of let your food settle for the rest of it. So, well, not the same director, but I have 2 films from fellow countrymen.
Okay,
I'm gonna hit you with a little Korean double feature.
Let's hear it.
I really enjoyed Mickey 17 from Bong Joon-ho.
Okay, yeah.
I honestly, if I'm honest, like maybe was just like slightly disappointed. I think my expectations for it were a little higher, but overall really loved it. Just kind of like this really weird, zany sci-fi film. Robert Pattinson is delightful. He was delightful. I love the subtle differences between the different Mickeys that he portrays, especially when, spoiler alert, you kind of have 2 of them at the same time.
Yeah, it's in the trailers.
I also really loved, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Mark Ruffalo as the kind of like Trumpian overlord. He's just like this really slimy, greasy guy. Honestly, kind of reminded me of his role that he played in that movie with Emma Stone that I kind of really hated after I watched it.
I can't think of what you're talking about.
From Yorgos.
Oh yeah.
Poor Things.
Poor Things.
My name is character in that movie. We don't need to talk about that film. But yeah,
I didn't see it.
Of course, I've loved a lot of his previous movies. I mean, I love The Host. Snowpiercer, I think, is a masterpiece. I really enjoyed Okja.
Okja's
but
fun.
But yeah, Mickey 17.
His masterpiece.
Yeah, Parasite as well. Right. Was that him?
Parasite, yeah.
Was that someone
Bong
else?
Joon-ho.
Parasite was amazing as well. Yes.
One of the best modern movies, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Especially the ending, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just a really great kind of like social satire, this kind of weird zany movie in space. It was fun. And then kind of something on the opposite of the spectrum, but still kind of satirical. I really enjoyed No Other Choice from Park Chan-wook.
My number 4 on the year.
Yes, it
my
was
number
fun.
4 movie.
Shout out to his film Decision to Leave. That was like one of my favorite movies of 2023. I think is when it
Yeah,
2023,
it's a few
2022,
years
something
ago.
like that. Loved that movie. It's actually one of the ones that I showed to my fiance, and she really enjoyed it as well. And this movie, again, I think I just honestly, it really reminded me of like a Safdie brothers film where this
Yeah, sure.
guy, the main character, just
Butt clenched the
keeps
whole time.
digging this hole for himself,
Uh-huh.
and it's just
But also
the
really funny.
most. Yes, it was really funny. Like, dude, when that lady gets bit by the snake, and she's like on FaceTime with her husband or whatever, while he's like trying to suck the poison out of her leg or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really funny, and also has some really interesting cinematography at parts. Like, I remember the scene
Yeah.
where the cops meet with her, and you're like seeing the reflections and like the devices and everything. It was really fascinating. But yeah, it's a really fun time, and just kind of one of those movies where you're like, there's no way that this can get worse, and then it
Yeah.
gets worse, you know.
Yeah.
And so
I
yeah,
think too,
really
like
loved it.
there's a lot of like architectural like symbolism and like working kind of, makes you think of his fellow countryman Bong Joon-ho with
Mhm,
Parasite. There's a lot of like
mhm,
architectural symbolism
mhm,
and whatnot with like the house, and then like there seems to be this thing with Korean filmmakers of like the higher parts of the city and the lower parts of the city.
mhm.
Maybe that's just a thing in Korea. But
Yeah, I think.
it makes for great like symbolism in your movie with
Yeah,
the geography. So
I think Korea is probably my favorite country to watch films from. That's
mm,
not like the usual, Hollywood kind of vibe, or
yeah,
like I've seen a good bit of Korean films, and they almost always deliver. Like, especially like man, they do really good like action thrillers about like assassins and like secret
mm,
agents and stuff. Like, so good. But yeah, man, they know what they're doing over there for sure.
yeah, yeah. I enjoyed Mickey 17. It I think I was a little disappointed in it as well. But just because I have such high like expectations for Bong Joon-ho. But but that aside, I think it was a little like I feel like it was a little underseen, underrated. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. And it's like one of those movies where it's like, I don't know how to tangibly explain why I was
yeah,
disappointed. I remember just walking out and
yeah,
just like, could have been better.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Um,
know why. It's
yeah,
just
but
how I
yeah.
felt.
No, when you said two Korean directors, yeah, I was really hoping you were going to say No Other Choice because I got to see it in theaters too.
Technically, it was a 2026 watch because I saw it like January 3rd or something like that.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah,
didn't have a chance to see it before.
yeah. It came to theaters here in Lafayette for like a week, and so I was able to
Mhm.
see it during that stretch. That was
Nice.
yeah, it was in January here as well. But yeah, definitely a phenomenal movie. I'm gonna name a few others that I have in my top 10. Train Dreams was great. I
Still haven't
loved.
seen it. I really want to.
Yeah, it was great. Marty Supreme, I loved.
Yes, that's on my list as well. Again, like man, I I haven't seen the Smashing Machine, but I heard it was good. But I'm like, compared to Marty Supreme, it wasn't good. Didn't
I
like it.
didn't like it.
Like, I'm really sad that the Safdie brothers had like their whole thing which I recently heard about why they may not be working together anymore because of some stuff that happened when they were doing Good Time, and I'm like,
Hmm.
this is true. This is kind of weird. But
Smashing Machine was my
or
number
one of their other
69
movies.
movie of the year.
Nice.
I really didn't care for it.
But man, I think the Safdie brothers, man, and I think Josh Safdie's kind of proven that maybe he's the superior
Yeah.
filmmaker. But
One of
Marty
the
Supreme was phenomenal for sure.
One of the things that when I saw Marty Supreme, I have like a group of friends that I'll text about movies, and I texted, "Well, I know now which Safdie brother has the juice." And one of the guys in the group was like, "Did you read my Letterboxd review?" And I was like, "No, I haven't read it yet." He's like, "I literally like say the same thing that
Yeah, I think
in my Letterboxd review."
I would still say like Uncut Gems, like Good Time is like right there, but I think Marty
Mm-hmm.
Supreme is like also. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think the difference with like Uncut Gems and Good Time is, even though the characters are not good guys. Like, they're maybe a little bit more like I remember watching Uncut Gems. I'm like, man, Adam Sandler sucks, but I kind of want him to get out of this. And the same thing with Robert Pattinson.
It's the
like,
Adam Sandler
he's
thing.
terrible. He's terrible, but like, I kind of want him to get back with his brother. Like, I want him, to figure this out. But I think with Mario Supreme, I'm just like, man, this guy is just kind of a dick.
He does kind of suck.
I remember
but
when
the end
the
hit
one
me,
scene,
man. The end hit me, bro.
Yes, I love the scene where he gets to replay the Japanese, which I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays like his Japanese rival, phenomenal.
Let's see.
Great presence. But yeah, man, I think when he's like,
Koto Kawaguchi.
Listen, I have a purpose that I have to live out. Okay. Like, I actually am going to do something in this world.
Yeah.
You're not. I'm like, dang, dude, really just tearing her down.
Yeah.
But
Marty Supreme was a good one for me. And then I had like my horror fix with Sinners and 28 Years Later.
Both of my lists as well.
Those were in my top 10.
I don't know what else can be said about Sinners, hasn't already been said, but 28 Years Later was like a revelation for me. I know apparently some people really didn't like it.
I loved it.
I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal.
And it might come up
I think
again.
It's the best of the
another
franchise. Maybe so.
Later in the episode.
But I think it's the best of the franchise for sure. I love the story.
I think so too.
Spike. I loved the ending, and also Ray Fiennes is phenomenal. Yeah, I just thought it was. I was like, man, I'm so glad to be back in this world because it's fascinating. Like, and Danny Boyle, especially Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, like coming back together.
Yeah.
To do it, I think was really the magic juice they needed.
Really looking forward to this third one in this supposed trilogy.
I don't think they've like officially confirmed it yet, but I really hope so.
Yeah, they've got to do it.
I need it. I need the ending. I need the ending.
Yeah, a couple more. I'll name off a couple more. These were my like emotional movies of the year that made it to my top 5. Number 5 was Sorry Baby. I always have at least like one movie that makes like my top 5 that's like a first time director that just like blows me away. But Eva Victor was the director. Her first feature, she stars in it as Agnes, the main character, as well. And it's it's
first time director and actor.
I don't, she's probably acted before,
but it's her first time director and she's directing herself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big commitment.
Yeah, and it's great. It's this story about this girl that is kind of like feels kind of stuck in life. She's connecting with an old friend. And you just find out like as you go on like things that have happened to each of them and just like an ending that like left me weeping just thinking about her and the character and what's happened to her and what she says and just thinking about like people in my own life, thinking of my own like daughter and everything. It just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's also very funny, like very like some very sarcastic characters that speak to like my millennial soul as well. So, and then the other tearjerker was Hamnet. I just thought Hamnet was phenomenal.
I still haven't seen it. My fiance actually watched. I don't know if she finished it, but she watched it on the plane as we were flying to Guatemala together. I chose to watch the Jack Black Anaconda movie, and my God, it was so bad.
Hamnet,
it was so bad.
I would not want to watch Hamnet on a plane because I would be weeping and
just emotional wreck. Yeah,
snotty and yeah.
She wants to watch it again, and she wants me to watch it with her. So we will eventually.
Do you have any others? I have 2 more that are like tied for my top 2. So if you have,
I definitely. I wonder if my top 2 are going to be different than your top 2. I'm going to say those ones, but I'll just rapid hit a few more that we haven't talked about yet. James Gunn's Superman. Really enjoyed it.
That was kind of outside my top 10.
Yeah, kind of a bit of a hope core kind of film. I mean, I think. I haven't loved everything James Gunn has done, but I really like when it comes to comic book stuff, the Guardians trilogy, super solid, especially, Volume 1, Volume 3. I really loved the Suicide Squad. Thought the movie was great. I think I gave it 5 stars when I saw it, actually. I thought it was I loved it.
I didn't love it that much, but I did love it.
Peacemaker is kind of hit or miss for me, I think, just overall. But I really loved what he did with Superman. It's kind of a weird movie in parts, but as much as I love the Snyderverse, I was ready to let it go. Like
Yeah.
he gave us what he could. Tragedy struck his family. Like, we gotta let sleeping dogs lie, kind of thing. And as much as I love Henry Cavill as Superman, and I will never forgive Dwayne Johnson and all that BS that happened, I thought David Cornswell was great as Superman, and I really enjoyed his performance.
Yeah. And Rachel Brosnahan, is that her name? She was great, I thought.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I thought, Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, I was on the fence. I wasn't sure. Even by the end, I was like, I'm not really sure
I want to see
if I
more.
like him as
I want to
Lex
see
Luthor
more.
or not. But
I don't know if you've seen the leaked like set photos of him in his power suit.
I've heard of it. I've heard, but I haven't seen them. Yeah.
I'm interested. See, they made like an actual like live action suit for him to wear. I'm like, this looks pretty sick, actually. But it's like super comic booky, but it's cool.
I like that. So
yeah. And I think another one that I really enjoyed that was like kind of movie that's like felt like it was made for me. This little, probably a lot of the audience may not have seen it. It's on Apple TV, but it's like an action thriller romance with horror elements called The Gorge from Scott Derrickson.
okay,
Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, which I love Anya Taylor-Joy.
I didn't get around to seeing that, but I was interested in it.
It's not the greatest movie ever, but for me, I was like, this is like a romance movie for the boys. It's so great. It's like she's like a Russian kind of agent. He's like an American soldier. They're on opposite sides of this gorge, and they're told like, hey, like you don't go over there. She doesn't come over here. Like, but there's some things in the gorge you got to keep from coming out of the gorge. And that's all you need to know, and there's, it's like one of those movies where it's like, especially for the guys out there, if your significant other's like, man, we should watch like a romantic movie, like just try and sell them on this. There's like the chemistry between Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller is really, it's very sweet. It's phenomenal. And also it's got some great action and some of those horror elements is too. Really fun watch. I think the last one, before we get into my top two, and I wonder if this is in your top two, Wake Up Dead Man. I think the Knives Out series so far, well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. The Knives Out series so far, I think I really enjoyed the first one, although I got kind of annoyed when it came out because everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's like a revival of the Whodunit series. I'm like, it's not really a Whodunit. Like, you kind of know who did it. Like, it's more of like, how did it happen? That's what it is. Because you end up finding out the guy who dies actually did technically kill himself, and
he also had already made Brick, which is like
yes,
kind of a whodunit in a way.
Yeah, and
there's
then
a mystery element to it.
If I'm honest, I really did not like Glass Onion. I was really annoyed. It's
okay
like
to me.
Benoit Blanc barely does anything. Like, he's just along for the ride. It's like if you were watching a movie about Sherlock Holmes, but it like follows his housekeeper the whole time instead of like, and he's just in some scene. I'm like, what is going on here? It kind of sort of happened to Wake Up Dead Man as well, but
to great effect.
I thought the cinematography, the acting, the story. Also, both of us as Christ followers, I think there was some really relevant things with like, I think Ryan Johnson, while I don't think he's religious himself, like really had a thumb on the pulse of the current state of Christianity specifically in the States.
I heard an interview with him. He was like a youth group kid. Like, he was like really like big, like into Jesus and youth group and everything, and kind of fell away. He's not religious anymore, but he kind of said he still has like a deep respect for it. Like, that's still kind of
like
a
Danny
part
McBride.
of him.
Like Danny McBride with the Righteous Gemstones, like kind of the same thing. He's like, he was very careful. He and his writers, he's like, I have people in my family that are really devout Christians. Like, I don't want them to feel like we're making fun of them. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
But he's making fun of like kind of the mega church system. And I think this movie is very similar, where it's like, it's not necessarily it's not really necessarily coming in Christianity, so to speak. But there is like maybe a particular version of it.
Well,
And I loved
yeah,
Josh O'Connor's character.
yeah, I think I mean, it's definitely jabbing at a certain like section of American Christianity, you know, but like I think a lot of Christians would are okay with jabbing at that section of American Christianity because
And the ones that
it
aren't are
needs to
probably
be
because they're in that section of
exactly.
American Christianity. Yeah.
So, you know, Josh O'Connor is just one of my favorite actors right now. I think he's I really enjoy him in everything. Funnily enough, one of like the movie season this year, I don't think is one of his stronger roles. But anyway, we'll get to that later. He he as an actor, I think has this way of like I don't know, it's like he's always holding something back and then is able to like let it go at some point in the movie in a way that like brings you along with him. Like you kind of like know how he's feeling as an actor underneath the surface, and you like really want him to like let that out. And then he has this like natural way of like over the course of the movie finding a place to like let that emotion out. But every role I've seen him in, he has like that sort of thing, even very different roles. And so I loved him in this. I think there's like some very profound moments of like
that phone call scene.
The phone call scene.
Can we talk about that?
Wrecked me.
Like, I mean, especially because you're a former minister yourself. So I think you've probably had those kinds of phone calls many times in your life.
Yeah. And it's just this, like, I feel like even if you're not like religious, these moments where like there's something that brings you back to your calling, you know, you get distracted and you get caught up in whatever's going on. And there's these moments where like something happens and it's like a breaking point that makes you remember who you are and what you know you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a powerful moment. I loved Wake Up Dead Man. 10 out of 10 for me. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10 and then rewatched it and gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think you gave it 4.5 stars. I don't remember what didn't get it to that 5-star point for me. I think maybe again because I just felt like Benoit Blanc maybe had a little bit too much of a back seat.
Rian Johnson doesn't like to do the same thing twice.
That's true. That's true.
So I, when you watch a Rian Johnson movie, even if it's in the same like quote unquote franchise, like you got to go in not thinking he's going to do the same thing again.
Yeah, because that's true.
He likes to mess with franchises as people know.
Well, since that was in one of your top movies, you want to say this was your other top film, and it was not one of my top two that we can.
My other one, Wake Up Dead Man was. I've gone back and forth between these two as my number one and number two, but the other one is One Battle After Another. Just phenomenal.
Still have not seen it. Take away my cinephile card. I wanted to so bad, but I just did not have a chance.
It's phenomenal. I saw it in theaters, watched it again earlier this year. It hit just as hard at home.
I'm so excited for it.
As it did in theaters. It's exciting. It's hilarious. Great acting, great characters. It's like it's how long? It's 162 minutes, but it feels like an hour and 10-minute movie. Just with the pacing, any movie that can make you laugh a lot and also like cry when you're supposed to cry, just phenomenal. I don't really know what else to say. A great villain, Sean Penn. Think what you might want to think about Sean Penn otherwise, but like he's great in the movie. DiCaprio, probably one of his best performances, I think. Just at this stage in his life, like who he is in the movie, you can tell like there's a lot of himself in that character. Chase Infinity is kind of like, it's her first movie and she's phenomenal in it. She's great. Benicio del Toro in the scenes he's in kind of takes over and is great. One of his best roles probably. And it's just it's got like everything you want in a movie like this. It's got very strong opinions about the state of the world. It's set like in the modern day, which is really hard to do. I think a lot why you see a lot of directors making movies about the past is because it's easier to comment on that. It's really hard to make a movie that feels prescient and important about like what's happening now, and this movie does that, I think, in really important ways. But it does it in a way where you also don't lose the personal aspect of the characters. You feel invested in like the overall like comment on what's going on in America and the world, but you also like never lose the personal aspect of like the characters and their connections as well. And so, yeah, it's phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's on my list. It's on my list. Man, yeah, I really want to see that one. But that's some great picks. I think I'm interested to know if either of these movies are in your top 10 or where they are in your ranking. But for me, I think my two favorite films from last year, and like they're super close in my mind when I just think about how much I enjoyed them. But I think first I'm gonna go with The Long Walk. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but
I did. I
oh my God, I
liked
went to go
it.
see this with
Yeah.
some of my boys, and bro, let me tell you what, man. Like it's like one of those movies. Like from the very beginning, I'm like, okay, the people who made this movie, they just know how guys are. Like with like the way they were joking and messing with each other, but just like I don't know, like because I think overall the premise of it is like kind of silly, I guess, but like just
Yeah.
something about that movie, and I think especially because like I went to go see it with some like my friends, like we went and saw it together, like we just walked out of that movie. I'm like, you guys want to go for a walk? Like, or my buddy Brian who came to see it with me, like, you know, we're kind of we're working out together on and off, and sometimes we'd be at the gym after seeing the movie, and I'm like, want to walk with me, brother? Walk with me a little longer as we're like side by side on the treadmills, you know? So I don't know. It's just one of those movies where I'm like, bro, if I would have seen that movie when I was like 13, it would have like rewired my brain. Like I enjoyed it as a 30-year-old man, but like, man, I could just imagine like if I had seen this like, you know, as like a, you know, kind of a young to mid teenager, I would have been like made that movie my entire personality. But I loved everything about it. Like I was a 10 out of 10. I have no complaints. I thought the score was great. The acting was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, I will say Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson.
Yes,
I want to see them in anything. David
Yes.
Johnson, I know you probably saw Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah,
Great in that. But also Rye Lane was a great 2023 movie. I don't know if you saw that. It's kind of like a
I did
rom-com.
not.
It's kind of like a rom-com, but like feels very like a modern twist on a rom-com.
Okay, okay.
I would
Nice.
highly recommend that if you like David Johnson.
Well,
'Cause
my fiance loves a good rom com. So
yeah, between Rye Lane, The Long Walk, and Alien Romulus, he's shown some like huge, like those are all very different roles.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to see what he does next. And Cooper Hoffman
I-
obviously
dude,
has.
Cooper Hoffman, and also is it Michael Gandolfini? Like they're killing it, dude, as far as like. But it's like I feel what I love about them is like they don't feel like nepo babies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though they have very famous fathers.
Yeah,
You know, with Cooper Hoffman being Philip Seymour Hoffman, and both of them have their dads are no longer with us.
right.
But I love Michael in Daredevil Born Again. Like he's been great in that show, and I want to see more from him. But yeah, I loved The Long Walk. Yeah, it was great. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And I think the only reason I took off half a star was because the very, very end was just like
The end.
the slightest bit unsatisfying for me.
I didn't
But
care a lot for the end. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it, but the end kind of like threw the whole movie for me. I just wasn't. I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't really into the way it ended. But
yeah,
you know,
I mean, and for me, I really only, I mean, a lot of my favorite movies were like 4.5 stars. I had 2 5-star movies. One was 28 Years Later, which I already talked about. And then my other 5-star movie, and I think probably my favorite movie from last year, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Really?
I thought it was
Okay.
a masterpiece. Like I loved it. I mean, it had I like I'm a huge GTT fan. Like I've seen I don't think I've seen everything he's done, but almost anything he's done,
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed. I love him as a one filmmaker to another. He just inspired me so much. And like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I'd love to make a monster movie one day. And if I ever did, like I want to like try and do it in the way that he would do it. You know, even some of his early work, like Blade 2 or
Mm-hmm.
Mimic, are like some of my favorite movies, right? Like, or Kronos, you know, like these are just
Yeah.
really, really great films. I think he showed a lot of brilliance really early on. And yeah, I think when you hear and when you read that this was like a passion project for him, like decades in the making, I think you see that. Like there's so much love and care that went into this film. The sets, as you can expect, the set design and the practical effects are incredible. The cinematography was incredible. And there's some scenes where it feels like this, like very like kind of like old school, grandiose, like stage play almost.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Oscar Isaac was really interesting as Victor Frankenstein with some of the choices that he made there. And man, I tell you
Elordi was
what,
good.
Jacob Elordi,
Yeah, Elordi was good. I did enjoy him.
phenomenal. Like just the gentleness that he had, but also that like kind of like primal rage that he shows in some scenes. You know, it's like it's a pretty standard adaptation of Frankenstein,
Sure.
right? Like it follows the book pretty great, which I think could be people's complaints about it. But I mean, it's a very famous story. Everyone kind of knows it. But yeah, I just think, especially the ending and just this, there's just so much. I think there's like so much of the gospel in that movie with like redemption and, you know, like forgiveness and things like that. Man, I loved it. I loved it. It was phenomenal. Kind of almost
Yeah.
made me cry in a few parts, honestly. I think if I remember correctly, you were not as much of a fan, but that's
No,
definitely my favorite
I'm
movie
not.
from last
I'm
year.
not
I
gonna
think.
rain on your parade. I'll say I gave it 3 stars.
Mhm.
So I didn't like hate the movie. I had some issues with it, like some areas I would probably like disagree. Areas like I agree with you on, and other areas where I don't. But I'm not gonna rain on your parade. If you know it's your favorite movie of the year, let's just like leave it at that and let people watch it and
Yeah,
see what they
yeah,
think. But yeah,
for sure.
the highlight for me was probably Elordi. I thought he was really good. So
Just such a great physical performance, especially in the earlier scenes before he really starts talking. Like, man,
mhm.
just the eye acting. It's like one of those things where it's like, I I think that was originally supposed to be Andrew Garfield.
Huh.
I want to
In
say,
the creature role?
I think so. And like, I love Andrew Garfield, but like after watching it, I'm like, I can't see anyone but
No.
Jacob Elordi playing the creature
Yeah.
because he has that. He's like a rugby player, right? Like he's got that physical
Mm.
build, you know.
You know what's funny is it's very different, but like did you ever see Priscilla, the Sofia Coppola movie
I still have not
where
seen
he's
it,
Elvis?
but I know of it. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. But he has like this similar presence that's like gentle but also like a little bit
Don't
scary
make him mad.
and yeah,
Yeah.
in that movie, just like and all you know, Kaylee Spaney plays Priscilla in that movie, and she's like much smaller than him, so like that
Mhm.
juxtaposition like really like plays
I wonder
into
if
that.
Jacob Elordi would do a good Bruce Banner. Like, if they ever want to,
Oh
if
yeah,
Mark Ruffalo is ever able to pass
probably
along
so. Yeah,
a role, I think he would kill it as like a Bruce Banner Hulk.
yeah, that's a good
I
call.
think he could do it. I think he could do it.
Yeah, yeah. I last year it was a good movie year. I enjoyed it.
Mm.
I could shout
Do
out
you
a
have any?
lot more movies, but I hope you enjoyed that conversation with JP about our favorites of last year, 2025. A bit belated, of course, but it was a fun conversation. Lots of fun talk about movies and kind of the state of movies where we are here in July of 2026. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to actually split what was initially one episode into 2. So next week, JP will be joining me again, and we will talk about our favorite, some first watches we've seen this year, not necessarily from this year, but just movies we really enjoyed, along with some other stuff about this year, movies that we're looking forward to seeing this year, movies, some of our favorite movies from this year so far, all of that sort of stuff. So look forward to that next week, and I will look forward to you listening to it. But that's all for this week. I've been Eli Price for Jean-Pierre Boudreaux. You've been listening to The Establishing Shot. We will see you next time.
We were happy here. For a little while.
But look, I figure it this way. Better to be king for a night than schmuck for a lifetime.